Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I am Tanvi Taneja and with me is VC Pramod with the midday news. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to interact with Chief Ministers of 15 remaining states and union territories to further discuss COVID-19 pandemic. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh pays homage to martyred soldiers in Galwan Valley and says loss of soldiers is deeply disturbing and painful. Prime Minister Narendra Modi calls for an all-party meeting on Friday to discuss the situation in the Indo-China border areas. COVID-19 national recovery rate reaches 52.79%. Recovery rate in 5 states and UTs is above 72%. And Prime Minister to address the nation on 21st of June on the occasion of International Day of Yoga. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will interact with Chief Ministers of 15 states and union territories through video conferencing on the second day today. The Prime Minister will discuss with them the emerging situation following the first phase of nationwide unlock and the plan ahead for tackling COVID-19 pandemic. The states and union territories include Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Delhi, Gujarat, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, West Bengal, Karnataka, Bihar, Andhra Pradesh, Haryana, Jammu and Kashmir, Telangana and Odisha. On the first day yesterday, the Prime Minister interacted with 21 states and union territories through video conferencing. During his interaction, the Prime Minister observed that timely decisions taken to combat the pandemic have been effective in containing its spread in the country. He said its approach of early preparedness helped the country to chalk out measures to save many lives. Mr. Modi said, when India's fight against COVID-19 will be analysed in the future, the time will be remembered for how the centre and the states worked together to fight the pandemic. The Prime Minister said they have presented an example for cooperative federalism to the world.
जब कभी भारत की कोरोना के खिलाफ लड़ाई का अध्ययन होगा तो ये दौर इसलिए भी याद किया जाएगा कि कैसे इस दौरान हमने साथ मिलकर के काम किया, कोऑपरेटिव फेडरलिज्म का सर्वोत्तम उदाहरण प्रस्तुत किया। कोरोना दुनिया के अनेक देशों में चर्चा का विषय भी नहीं बना था, तब भारत ने इससे निपटने के लिए तैयारियां शुरू कर दी थी, फैसले लेने शुरू कर दिए थे। हमने एक एक भारतीय की जिंदगी को बचाने के लिए दिन रात मेहनत की।
Mr. Modi said even a single loss of life due to coronavirus is saddening and the nation should not lower its guard even during the unlock. He urged every citizen to strictly follow all necessary precautions including wearing masks, maintaining 2 gaj ki duri and washing hands regularly with soap. He said health experts the world over are praising the discipline shown by Indians, adding that the recovery rate in the country is now over 50%. He also noted that India is amongst the nations with the least number of deaths due to coronavirus.
दुनिया के बड़े बड़े एक्सपर्ट्स, हेल्थ के जानकार लॉकडाउन और भारत के लोगों द्वारा दिखाए गए अनुशासन की आज भारी चर्चा हो रही है। आज भारत में रिकवरी रेट 50% से ऊपर चला गया है। आज भारत दुनिया के उन देशों में अग्रणी है जहां कोरोना संक्रमित मरीजों का जीवन बच रहा है।
The Chief Ministers thanked the Prime Minister for his leadership during such a challenging time and uniting the country in the collective fight against the virus. The Union Government today said that the recovery rate has reached 52.79% in the country and a total of 1,86,935 people affected with coronavirus have been cured so far. During the last 24 hours, 6,922 people recovered from this virus. Presently, the total number of active corona cases in the country is 1,55,227. Health and Family Welfare Ministry said a total of 10,974 new cases of COVID-19 were reported in the last 24 hours, taking the total number of cases to 3,54,065. India registered the highest death toll since the outbreak of coronavirus in the country. In one day, a total of 2,003 deaths were reported, taking the nationwide toll to 11,903. With this, the case fatality rate reached to 3.36%. Meanwhile, Indian Council of Medical Research ICMR said that a total of 1,63,187 tests of coronavirus samples were conducted by various laboratories in the country within 24 hours. This is the highest number of tests conducted by the laboratories in a single day. So far, 60,84,256 tests have been conducted. ICMR is continuously scaling up its testing facilities for COVID-19 by giving approval to government and private laboratories. As of now, total of 924 laboratories across India have been given approval to conduct the test for COVID-19, including 674 government laboratories and 250 private laboratory chains. The Ministry of Health and Family Welfare data reveals that more than 69% COVID-19 cases are from these 5 states and union territories: Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Delhi, Gujarat and Uttar Pradesh. In terms of recovery rate, top 5 states and union territories are Chandigarh, Andaman and Nicobar Islands, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh and Punjab, wherein the recovery rate is above 72%. There are 17 states and union territories in India wherein the recovery rate is above the national average of cured patients. The Delhi government has said that a total of 1,859 new confirmed cases of coronavirus were reported in Delhi during the last 24 hours, taking the total number of cases to 44,688. Delhi government has confirmed that 16,500 people affected with coronavirus have been cured so far, and the recovery rate is 36.92% in the city. In the last 24 hours, 73 patients recovered and 93 deaths have been registered in the national capital, taking the toll to 1,837. In our series Experts Speak on All India Radio, we bring you the views of leading medical experts on COVID-19. Dr. S. Rajeshwari from the Department of Anesthesiology, AIIMS, has advised people to stay at homes and maintain hand hygiene.
We have seen that there is a severe shortage of ICU facilities in the most developed of countries. And in order that we do not face the same calamity in our country, it is vital that we do not stress the health system by becoming more sick and bringing more patients. And for this, I urge that you must stay at home and must maintain hand hygiene to reduce the number of patients coming into the hospital.
Dr. Purva Mathur, Professor Lab Medicine, AIIMS, has said that social distancing is very important to check the spread of virus.
The coronavirus spreads by droplets when a person coughs or sneezes. These droplets do not travel beyond 1 meter, and that is why it's important to maintain social distancing.
Defence Minister Rajnath Singh paid homage to the martyred soldiers in Galwan Valley and said the loss of soldiers is deeply disturbing and painful. He said the soldiers displayed exemplary courage and valour in the line of duty and sacrificed their lives in the highest traditions of the Indian Army. In a tweet, Mr. Singh said the nation will never forget their bravery and sacrifice. He said his heart goes out to the families of the fallen soldiers. Defence Minister said the nation stands shoulder to shoulder with them in this difficult hour, and the nation is proud of the bravery and courage of the bravehearts. The Indian Army, in a statement, said Indian and Chinese troops have disengaged at the Galwan area where they had earlier clashed on Monday night. 17 Indian troops who were critically injured in the line of duty at the standoff location and exposed to sub-zero temperatures in the high-altitude terrain have succumbed to their injuries. Earlier, during the de-escalation process, 1 officer and 2 soldiers were martyred, taking the total that were killed in action to 20. The Army said that it is firmly committed to protecting the territorial integrity and sovereignty of the nation. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh briefed Prime Minister Narendra Modi on the issue. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has called for an all-party meeting on Friday. Our correspondent reports presidents of various political parties would take part in the virtual meeting. Prime Minister would discuss the situation on the Indo-China border areas with top leaders of the country. The meeting assumes significance in the wake of the recent violent clashes in the Galwan Valley in eastern Ladakh. In response to media queries on the situation in the western sector of the Indo-China border, the MEA spokesperson Anurag Srivastav said, given its responsible approach to border management, India is very clear that all its activities are always within the Indian side of the LAC. He said India expected the same on the Chinese side. The spokesperson said India and China have been discussing through military and diplomatic channels the de-escalation of the situation in the border area in eastern Ladakh. Senior commanders had a productive meeting on the 6th of this month and agreed on a process for such de-escalation. Subsequently, ground commanders had a series of meetings to implement the consensus reached at a higher level. He said while it was New Delhi's expectation that this would unfold smoothly, the Chinese side departed from the consensus to respect the line of actual control LAC in the Galwan Valley. The spokesperson added that New Delhi remains firmly convinced of the need for the maintenance of peace and tranquility in the border areas and the resolution of differences through dialogue. At the same time, New Delhi is also strongly committed to ensuring India's sovereignty and territorial integrity. Speaking exclusively to AIR News, defense analyst Commodore Uday Bhaskar underlined the strategic importance of Galwan Valley.
Strategically very important for India, mainly because of the connectivity that it provides, particularly to the Daulat Beg Oldie airstrip. Now, this is the world's highest landing ground, and it is reasonably close to the line of actual control. So if you look at the map, you will get an idea about strategic significance of the Galwan Valley in relation both to the line of actual control and the road that India is currently building between Darbuk to DBO or the Daulat Beg Oldie. This would reduce the transit time in a very significant manner, and it would also give India a certain advantage in that particular area. The fact that China is now laying so much emphasis on this area is to prevent India from consolidating its infrastructure and being able to access DBO in a swift manner.
According to agency reports, the Chinese side suffered over 40 casualties, including the dead and seriously injured, in the face-off in the Galwan Valley on Monday night. United States intelligence reports also suggest that the Chinese army suffered heavy casualties during the violent clash with the Indian military in eastern Ladakh's Galwan Valley. The report further added that this figure could be a combination of total number of soldiers killed and seriously wounded on the Chinese side. The Indian Army yesterday said 20 army personnel, including a colonel, were killed on Monday night in the biggest ever military confrontation between the two armies in over 5 decades. The mortal remains of Colonel Santosh Babu, who laid down his life for the country in the standoff with Chinese troops at Galwan Valley in Ladakh, will be brought to his home state by this evening. Army officials and state authorities informed that all arrangements are being made for the funeral of Colonel Santosh Babu at Surapet town in Telangana. Earlier, Cyberabad Police Commissioner Sajanar and army officials received Miss Santoshi, wife of the slain colonel, who arrived from Delhi at Samshabad Airport this morning. The UN Secretary-General, Mr. Antonio Guterres, has expressed concern over reports of violence at the line of actual control LAC between India and China. He urged both sides to exercise maximum restraint. UN spokesperson for the Secretary-General made the comments at the daily press briefing. Meanwhile, the United States has said that it is closely monitoring the situation between Indian and Chinese forces along LAC. The State Department spokesperson said the US was hoping for a peaceful resolution and also offered condolences to the bereaved families of the martyred soldiers.
Election Commission has decided to address the challenges of false affidavits filed by some candidates along with their nominations to ensure free, fair and ethical elections in the country. The Commission will take cognizance of such complaints and refer those to the relevant investigating authorities on a case-to-case basis. Commission has been receiving complaints regarding furnishing of false information in the affidavits by some candidates. This matter was discussed yesterday in Election Commission's meeting. The Commission observed that furnishing of false information adversely affects the rights of voters as well as impinges on the purity of electoral process. As per the extant provision, individuals are filing such complaints in the competent court under Section 125A of the Representation of People Act 1951. You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to interact with Chief Ministers of 15 remaining states and union territories to further discuss COVID-19 pandemic. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh pays homage to martyred soldiers in Galwan Valley and says loss of soldiers is deeply disturbing and painful. Prime Minister Narendra Modi calls for an all-party meeting on Friday to discuss the situation in the Indo-China border areas. COVID-19 national recovery rate reaches 52.79%. Recovery rate in 5 states and UTs is above 72%. Prime Minister to address nation on the 21st of June on the occasion of International Day of Yoga. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
अपने साथ अपनों का ध्यान रखो, बड़े बुजुर्गों का तुम ध्यान रखो, दो बात करो, कुछ मदद करो, कोरोना के चलते याद रखो, घर की सफाई ना भूलना, हाथों को धोना मत भूलना, सुरक्षित दादा दादी नाना नानी अभियान, अपने साथ अपनों का ध्यान।
The United Nations Security Council UNSC will elect 5 new non-permanent members to the council today. France took over the presidency of the powerful 15-member Security Council for the month of June. The United Nations General Assembly last month adopted a decision to hold the Security Council elections under new voting arrangements, taking into account restrictions in place due to COVID-19 pandemic. India is a candidate for a non-permanent seat from the Asia-Pacific category for the 2021-22 term. Its victory is given since it is the sole candidate vying for the lone seat from the grouping. New Delhi's candidature was unanimously endorsed by the 55-member Asia-Pacific grouping, including China and Pakistan, in June last year. Each year, the General Assembly elects 5 non-permanent members out of 10 in total for a 2-year term. The 10 non-permanent seats are distributed on a regional basis. This year, Canada, Ireland and Norway are vying for 2 seats in the Western Europe and other countries category. Mexico is the only candidate for the 1 Latin American and Caribbean seat, while Kenya and Djibouti will contest the seat available from the African group. Beginning in January 2021, the new members will serve a 2-year term on the UNSC. The head of the World Health Organization, Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, has said that more than 1 lakh confirmed cases of coronavirus have been reported worldwide each day over the past 2 weeks, while it took more than 2 months for the first 1 lakh cases to be reported. He said that almost 75% of the recent cases have been reported from 10 countries, mostly in America and South Asia.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address the nation on the 21st of June of this month on the occasion of International Day of Yoga. This will be live telecast at 6:30 a.m. on Doordarshan and other digital platforms. After the Prime Minister's address, team of Morarji Desai National Institute of Yoga will perform a live demonstration of common yoga protocol from 7 a.m. to 7:45 a.m. Discussion with the yoga experts will be telecast from 7:45 a.m. to 8 a.m. Ministry of Ayush is promoting the theme Yoga at Home, Yoga with Family through its International Day of Yoga activities. Every year, 21st of June is being celebrated worldwide as the International Day of Yoga. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic this year, the main focus is on the people performing yoga at their respective homes with their families. In the current pandemic situation, yoga is beneficial as its practice leads to both physical and mental well-being of the people, which increases the individual's immunity and ability to fight with the disease. Prasar Bharati has initiated the daily telecast of the Common Yoga Protocol on DD Bharati from 8 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. from the 11th of June. This program is also available on the Ayush Ministry's social media platforms. A video blogging contest, My Life, My Yoga, with attractive prizes is also being organized, in which the people are being encouraged to post their short video clips performing different yogasanas. Speaking exclusively to AIR News, Director of Morarji Desai National Institute of Yoga, Dr. Ishwar Basavareddy, stressed on the importance of yoga to maintain a stress-free life amidst the testing times due to the global pandemic.
We have several practices like yogasana, pranayama and meditation or dhyana. Medically speaking, many of the physiological and biochemical tests conducted which shows that it is helping to reduce the stress, anxiety, is a physiological and biochemical parameters. But at the same time, mental health is not just keeping our body fit and these medical parameters, but it is above all how we react and behave in extreme conditions. That's the most important thing.
The News Services Division of All India Radio, in its bilingual live phone-in program today, will bring you a special discussion program on COVID-19. Dr. Manoj Nesari, Advisor Ayurved, Ministry of Ayush, will participate in the discussion. Listeners can ask questions to the experts on toll-free telephone number 1-800-115767. One can also ask questions on telephone number 011-2331-4444 and post queries on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts by hashtag AskAIR. This can be heard tonight on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies from 9:30 p.m. onwards. This program will also be available on our website newsonair.com and on our YouTube channel News on AIR Official. You can also follow us on the News on AIR app for updates. This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates around the clock, follow us on Twitter at AIR News Alerts.
अरे बबलू, लॉकडाउन खुलते ही टहलने निकल पड़े। महामारी अभी फैली हुई है।
सरपंच जी, टहलने नहीं, कहाँ पे वापस जा रहे हैं?
तुझे डर नहीं लगता वायरस पकड़ लेगा?
पहले थोड़ा बहुत डर लगता था, फिर पता चला कि अगर मैंने पूरी सावधानी बरती तो ये बीमारी होने की संभावना कम है। सबसे महत्वपूर्ण है ये मास्क। काम पर मास्क हमेशा पहनूंगा, समय समय पर हाथ धोता रहूंगा और दूसरों से हर वक्त कम से कम 2 गज की दूरी बनाए रखूंगा। खुद को, दूसरों को और अपने परिवार वालों को भी सुरक्षित रखूंगा।
अरे भाई, मेरी जिम्मेदारी बनती है तुझे चेतावनी देना, सो दे दिया।
जब देश के मेडिकल और स्वच्छता कर्मचारी रोज कोरोना वायरस से लड़ने का काम कर रहे हैं, तो हमारी भी तो जिम्मेदारी बनती है अपना काम करने की।
बबलू, तुझे कुछ हो गया तो?
हजारों लोग इस बीमारी को हराकर ठीक हो चुके हैं और अगर किसी कारण मुझे ये बीमारी हो भी जाए तो सरकार ने अस्पताल में हमारे इलाज के लिए पर्याप्त व्यवस्था कर रखी है। ये घबराने का वक्त नहीं, एक दूसरे का हौसला बढ़ाने का वक्त है। कोरोना वायरस से हमें लड़ाई जारी रखनी पड़ेगी और उससे डर कर नहीं, पूरी सावधानी के साथ डट कर चलिए। रुकी जिंदगी को आगे बढ़ाएं, देश को आत्मनिर्भर बनाएं। जय हिंद।
The Union Government has denied issuing an advisory related to postponing the National Eligibility Cum Entrance Test (NEET) for undergraduates. Press Information Bureau today said there is no such advisory on postponing the test. It asked the students to check information only from authentic sources. Last month, Union Human Resource and Development Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank informed that NEET exam will be held on 26th of July 2020. The Sports Ministry is all set to establish Khelo India State Centres of Excellence under the Khelo India scheme. One such centre will be identified in every state and union territory with an aim to create a robust sporting ecosystem in the entire country. In the first leg, the ministry has identified state-owned sports facilities in 8 states, including Karnataka, Odisha, Kerala, Telangana, Arunachal Pradesh, Manipur, Mizoram and Nagaland, which will be upgraded into Khelo India State Centres of Excellence. Youth Affairs and Sports Minister Kiran Rijiju said these centres are being established to strengthen India's pursuit for excellence in Olympics. He said effort is to scale up the best sporting facilities available in every state into academies of world-class standard.
As part of the Vande Bharat mission, nearly 1,500 Indian nationals will arrive in Kochi in Kerala today. More from our correspondent.
7 flights are scheduled to arrive today in Kochi under the mission. Flight from Jeddah carrying stranded Indian nationals had arrived in Kochi short while ago. After the medical screening, the passengers are being shifted to the quarantine centres. 6 more flights will be arriving today in Kochi from Germany, Saudi Arabia, Dubai, Jeddah and Kuwait. Mayusha for AR News from Thiruvananthapuram.
The Maharashtra government has informed that 13,456 passengers have arrived in Mumbai via 82 flights under the Vande Bharat mission so far. Out of these, 4,989 are residents of Mumbai, whereas 4,364 are from other parts of the state and 4,103 from other states. A statement from the Chief Minister's office said that an additional 76 flights are expected to bring more stranded passengers back to India by the end of this month. So far, citizens stuck in 38 foreign countries, including those in Europe, America, Gulf region and Asia, have been brought back. All the passengers have to compulsorily remain in institutional quarantine, either in Mumbai or in the respective district centres. Citizens from other states are accommodated in Mumbai until their travel passes and other necessary documentation is completed.
The total number of confirmed COVID-19 positive cases in Nagaland has gone up to 181, with 2 new cases being reported, out of which 78 are active cases and 103 have recovered. To ease the burden on COVID care centres, Ahmedabad Hospitals and Nursing Homes Association has launched Home Care Initiative for mild to moderate COVID-19 patients in the city from today. Our correspondent reports that initially 7 private hospitals had been included in the programme, but the association aims to include 50 hospitals in the coming days. A report from our correspondent.
Looking at the continuous surge in the number of COVID-19 patients in Ahmedabad, bed occupancy is one of the major challenges before the healthcare system. To reduce the bed occupancy with mild patients, AHNA has started home care service. Talking to AIR, President of AHNA, Dr. Bharat Gadvi, said 80 to 85% of the patients in the city fall under the category who do not require special medical attention. He said people falling in high-risk groups such as pregnant women, senior citizens and patients with comorbidity have not been included in the initiative. The current plan includes teleconsultations by physicians, daily teleconsultation by a qualified nurse, training on vital handlings, and personal visit by a nurse twice in 10 days. He said the cost of the package is $699 per day. However, the hospitals are free to reduce the cost. Aparna Khund, AIR News, Ahmedabad.
In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, Kulgam district is showing a significant recovery rate and has reported 253 recoveries in the last 5 days. That has brought the total toll of active cases to as low as 213. Kulgam Deputy Commissioner Shaukat Ejaz Bhatt said that 446 patients have recovered in the district so far, while the total number of positive cases are 643 with a recovery rate of 69%. The Khadi and Village Industries Commission KVIC has rolled out a unique project to produce neer and palm jaggery, which has huge potential to create employment. The project that aims at promoting neer as a substitute to soft drinks while also creating self-employment to Adivasis and traditional trappers was launched at Dahanu in Palghar district of Maharashtra. More from our correspondent.
KVIC distributed toolkits for extraction of neera and making palm jaggery to 200 local artisans in Palghar who were given 7 days training by KVIC. A toolkit worth Rs 15,000 comprises food-grade stainless steel kadhai, perforated molds, canteen burners and other equipments like knives, rope and axes for extraction of neera. There are over 50 lakh palm trees across the state. A wide range of products like candies, milk chocolates, palm cola, ice cream and traditional sweets can be produced from neera. This initiative is expected to provide direct employment to 400 local traditional trappers. Madhuri Pange, AIR News, Mumbai.
Now, let us take a look at the weather updates for the day today. National capital Delhi will have partly cloudy sky with possibility of development of thunder lightning. Minimum temperature recorded was 29 degrees Celsius and maximum will be around 42 degrees. Mumbai will have generally cloudy sky with heavy rains. Minimum temperature was recorded at 25 degrees Celsius and maximum will be around 31. Chennai will have generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. Minimum temperature recorded was 30 degrees Celsius and maximum is expected to go up to 39 degrees. Kolkata will have generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Minimum temperature in the metropolis was 26 degrees Celsius while maximum will be around 32 degrees. Chandigarh will see partly cloudy sky. Minimum temperature in the city was 30 degrees while maximum will be around 41. In Dehradun, there will be partly cloudy sky with possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. Minimum temperature was 24 degrees and maximum is expected to be around 35 degrees Celsius. Hyderabad is expecting generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Minimum temperature was recorded at 23 degrees while maximum will be around 32. Bengaluru witnessed minimum temperature of 21 degrees Celsius and maximum is expected to be around 29 degrees. The city will have generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. Patna will witness generally cloudy sky with light rain. Minimum temperature in this city was recorded 27 degrees Celsius while maximum will be around 31. Guwahati is likely to witness generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, the minimum temperature was 26 degrees Celsius in Jammu while maximum will be around 41 degrees Celsius. The city is likely to have mainly clear sky. In Gilgit, minimum temperature was 14 and maximum will be around 35 degrees Celsius. Muzaffarabad is likely to have mainly clear sky becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. The city recorded minimum temperature of 22 while maximum will be around 38 degrees Celsius. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to interact with Chief Ministers of 15 remaining states and union territories to further discuss COVID-19 pandemic. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh pays homage to martyred soldiers in Galwan Valley and says loss of soldiers is deeply disturbing and painful. Prime Minister Narendra Modi calls for an all-party meeting on Friday to discuss the situation in the Indo-China border areas. COVID-19 national recovery rate reaches 52.79%, recovery rate in 5 states and UTs above 72%. And Prime Minister to address the nation on 21st of June on the occasion of International Day of Yoga. And with that, we end the midday news.